Deputy Mayor Micah Gooding is granted a one-week stay of execution. Will he resign from his post by next week Wednesday? Colette Montejo is appointed field supervisor of the upcoming redistricting exercise. And Prime Minister John Briceño addresses the 9th Summit of the Americas. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
DigiFans, the 2022 Belize Telephone Directory is now available. Pick up your free copy at any Digistore and A&R branches countrywide. Check out our cellular, residential, and Yellow Page listings. It's the most complete guide in Belize. You can also access the directory on the go by downloading the free Find Yellow mobile app from the Google Play and Apple Store. For more info, log on to www.findyellow.com. The 2022 Belize Telephone Directory. Get your copy today.
My name is Julie, and I'm a single mom raising a 10-year-old son. I'm the director for a conservation organization. When I started working in the field of marine conservation, it was absolutely male-dominated. It still is male-dominated. One of my first jobs was as a manager out on a remote island with all-male staff reporting to me. And one of my assistants was very upset with me and actually told me, the only woman whoever tells me what to do is my mom. And I have my son, and I really do want to show him that really anything can be done, and it doesn't matter who you are. From day one, I've been teaching my son that any job that a man can do, a woman can do. And he has learned this, and he now preaches this to friends and even my colleagues.
Live and let live. Respect for all Belizeans.
Applying for a Social Security sickness benefit? Here's what you need to know. A complete claims package include 1. Sickness claim form fully completed by the claimant and medical doctor. 2. Salaries record form completed by the employer or HR representative. 3. Proof of bank account such as bank book, online banking, or statement. displaying your name and account number. To submit via email, you need to take a clear photo or scan of the documents and email to claims@socialsecurity.org.bz. Be sure to include your full name, social security number, and benefit type in the subject line of the email. Or you can drop off all completed forms into the Dropbox slot at the nearest branch office. Deadline to submit is 14 days from your first day of illness. All forms are available on the website at www.socialsecurity.org.bz. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, June 9th. I am Sabrina Daly. His time as Deputy Mayor of Belize City should have come to an end today. But tonight, Micah Gooding is holding on to his seat as the second most powerful officer at City Hall. He was given an additional week to deliberate and decide whether he will be stepping down on his own volition or face a recall by his colleagues in the Belize City Council. It's the latest in an ongoing saga involving Gooding, who was caught up in a shooting incident in mid-May that left Shadow Councillor Tay Medina injured with a bullet graze to the neck. On May 26, during a meeting of the caucus, Councillor Albert Vaughan moved by way of a resolution to have Gooding step down as deputy mayor or be voted out by a majority of his fellow councillors. News 5's Isani Catano reports.
Deputy Mayor Micah Gooding has been granted a proverbial stay of execution following a decision by his colleagues at City Hall to extend the time needed for him to confer with his family on whether he should demit office. Councillor Gooding finds himself at the heart of an otherwise delicate situation in the wake of a shooting incident on May 14th that resulted in a shadow councillor being grazed by a bullet. Earlier today, during a meeting of the Belize City Council, it was agreed unanimously that the beleaguered deputy mayor has until Monday to tender his resignation. During a recent conversation with Mayor Bernard Wagner, he told News 5 that the move to unseat Gooding is a confluence of missteps on his part as an elected official.
It has been essentially a whole stream of events that really triggered what occurred yesterday in the caucus, where Councillor Vaughan tabled a motion on the adjournment of importance, where he essentially asked for Councillor Gooding to resign from the deputy mayor position, and if not, then he will table that motion within the 14 days as per the Act regulation, and those councillors in that room unanimously supported Councillor Vaughan's motion. 9 councillors.
That 14-day period elapsed today. In a press release issued by the Belize City Council this afternoon, it states that a collective decision was taken to allow Gooding additional time to make up his mind. Should he decide not to step down, a motion will be tabled for a special meeting to be held next Wednesday to recall the deputy mayor by way of a vote.
The thing is, as elected officials, you have to demonstrate many times restraint and judgment. And we have over the past period of time that the deputy has a series of misjudgments, having a young shadow councillor socializing after hours, drinking. I just believe that when you have young people, liquor, guns, egos, that's a recipe for disaster.
So much so that in the immediate aftermath of the incident, 3 firearms that were licensed to Deputy Mayor Gooding, his associate Tariq James, and Kenyon Tillett, the traffic officer with whom they had an altercation outside of an establishment on Newtown Barracks, were confiscated. We note that both James and Tillett were arraigned on several counts relating to the incident. According to Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, ballistic analyses of those weapons would have been conducted.
I have since directed the police to take away all firearms from the 3 individuals who are in possession of licensed firearms. The firearms will be sent to the forensic lab for ballistic purposes, as we still need to ascertain if all 3 guns were fired or only 2 were fired.
To date, there has been no update on the findings of those tests and what bearing, if any, they would have on the investigation into the shooting. Nonetheless, when we spoke with Prime Minister John Briceño last week, he reserved comment on the matter, going as far as saying that it's a decision to be made by Citco.
That is a decision for the City Council. They, in their wisdom, have decided that they believe that Micah should take us kind of like a timeout, you know, and step down as the deputy mayor for Belize City. So that's not for me to comment on.
We note that it would be the first time in the history of the Belize City Council that a deputy mayor would be ousted by his fellow councillors. Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Recently, Prime Minister John Briceño told reporters that the government had hired private law firms to take on high-profile cases since they had the experience and qualifications to deal with those matters. One of those law firms is Courtney Koyi LLP, whose senior partners include Senators Eamon Courtney and Chris Koyi. We note that the opposition has made several requests via the Freedom of Information Act to get a hold of the agreements that have been struck between the Briceño administration and the law firm. The most recent request was via a letter written to Governor General Frola Salam on Monday. Earlier today, we asked Minister Koyi if his law firm went through the processes as required by law for it to benefit from those private contracts.
In terms of the Constitution has set so the restrictions, but also provides for certain exemptions. I think section 64(2) of the Constitution is the one that speaks specifically to that. And under that, members of the National Assembly, including the Senate, would need to secure an exemption from the Governor General. That has been done in the case of both Senator Courtney and I presume from 2020. So that's a non-starter really. As far as the Freedom of Information request, I believe the Prime Minister will submit or send a letter of response providing full disclosure in short order.
How do you respond to the remark that it's a conflict of interest because you're a friend of the Prime Minister and work out of his office as Minister of State, and then your law firm is contracted for these high-profile cases? I'm
not sure how it would be a conflict of interest. I have no involvement. Senator Corney and I are both on sabbatical from the law firm. We have no involvement with the law firm at this point in time, or at least for the period of our official service to the government. As far as any action or matter which the government engages the law firm for, that is between the relevant department and the law firm. There is nothing hidden in what is occurring.
The big news last week was that BTL had acquired Alternative Networks Limited, a cable company in Benqueviejo, as part of its plan to package all its services to its customers. But leader of the opposition, Shine Barrow, had suggested that the acquisition was a waste of money, since cable is an obsolete mode of entertainment. Today, the media asked the Minister of Public Utilities, Michel Shabat, for his views on the acquisition by the publicly owned company.
I understand that this was a deliberation by their board, and they felt that this was a critical part of the services that they want to offer. And so they, in their deliberate judgment, felt that this was a good investment. We have, as you know, members who sit on the board of directors who are aware of government's policies and government's plan. And so their job is really to ensure that when these decisions are being made, that they are aligned in the big with what government's policies and plans are.
The pending redistricting exercise is set to begin in the weeks ahead following a long drawn-out battle in the Supreme Court. While the machinery for this extensive process is being put together, the decision by the Elections and Boundaries Commission to appoint Colette Montejo as the supervisor of all field work is being met with consternation by the United Democratic Party. Earlier today, the Commission issued a release informing of Montejo's appointment to the Redivision Task Force. Senator Montejo, who is also a member of the People's United Party's executive, will oversee the gathering and providing of all information regarding the transport and facilities of the divisions. This is in respect of its physical features, as well as the distribution of the population throughout Belize in accordance with the Constitution. The fieldwork, according to the Commission, will complement the work already being done by the technical experts in geographic information systems, legal studies, statistical analysis, and electoral management. The perceived conflict, nonetheless, is the duality of Montejo's role in the PUP hierarchy. This evening, News 5 spoke by phone with UDP Chairman Mike Perifeed.
Well, it is absolutely ridiculous and should not be done. Listen to me. The Vice Chairman of the UDP is a member of the Elections and Boundaries Commission, along with our past Secretary General, Mrs. Philippa Bailey. This matter came up in February, and those two members on behalf of the UDP vehemently objected to Mr. Colette Montejo being appointed as a field supervisor for the redistricting. This man is a PUP senator, but more importantly, this man is a Deputy Secretary General for the PUP. Man, even if you want to promote just objectivity, which should be the goal of the Elections and Boundaries Commission, you cannot appoint that person to be a field supervisor. You just cannot do that. There are many people who are qualified to hold that post. And you can't tell me that the only person you can find in Belize is the Deputy Secretary General of the PUP. We totally object to this. We totally reject this. And we hope that the government will see that objectivity is the most important thing in this redistricting exercise, and they will pull that person from that position. I mean, this is utterly ridiculous.
Is it they believe perhaps that his involvement in this process as a field supervisor would perhaps prejudice the exercise, as it were?
Well, I'm not saying that for sure it will, but what I'm saying, come on, any reasonable person cannot expect that the Deputy Secretary General of the PUP will be totally fair in this redistricting process, or to give advice or to make recommendations in this redistricting process. The Deputy Secretary General for the PUP most naturally will give advice and make decisions and steer in the direction of what will benefit his political party, which should not be the purpose of this exercise. Get somebody professional, get somebody independent who the country can have confidence in that they will operate in a purely objective manner.
Is there anything that can be done at this point to perhaps change the course or the decision that is being made?
Isani, these people table matters in the House of Representatives and pull it back. This is a walk back government. This is one that they need to walk back.
Coming up, Placencia Key is cleared and dredged to the dismay of residents. Details when we return.
It's Super Handy Dads Month again at Brothers Habit and Habit, and that means super deals and super gifts for that super special dad. And we're bringing the power to all Super Handy Dads all month with 15% off all power tools and accessories from Stanley, Black & Decker, DeWalt, Skill and Bosch, and 15% off our entire brand new line of Track automotive batteries. Super powerful! Plus super clearance deals on Westinghouse lights, select paint colors, and much more. So come in today to Habit and Brothers Habit this Super Handy Dads Month and pick up these super deals at Super Savings.
Offers the best home internet experience? The truth is, Digi, of course. Diginet has the largest fiber network and the fastest speeds with the most reliable service. That's more learning, more earning, more gaming, more bonding, more sharing, getting more things done. And now, Diginet is even more affordable with the new entry plan, a 20 megabits per second fiber connection for just $49 monthly, and increased speeds in all plans. The truth is, only Digi has the ultimate home internet experience, with savings up to $270 when you bundle. Wireless and cable can't give you that. So what are you waiting for? Sign up or make the switch to DigiNet today to enjoy more speeds to get more done. Digi, or National Telecom.
Bio-based plastics are plastics made partially or entirely from plant or biological material instead of petroleum. For example, plastics made from sugarcane bagasse, starch, and hemp. Bio-based plastics are great alternatives to petroleum-based plastics commonly found on the market and are mostly used in packaging applications and in fibers in the textile sector. If properly disposed of, these plastics break down faster and have little to no negative side effects on the environment when broken down. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
The 2022 Population and Housing Census is here, and our census staff will visit your home over the next 10 weeks. You may ask yourself, what can I expect when my household is visited? Well, data for the census will be collected in two parts. First, the interviewers will list all the buildings in their area of work and record some key characteristics of the building. For example, they will capture whether the building is a dwelling unit, a business, or an institution. They may ask you to confirm some information about the building when in doubt. The second part involves collecting information about each household, such as the number of persons living in the household, the type of dwelling they live in, and access to essential services. Information will also be collected about each household member, including newborns and the elderly. Remember, the data from the census is essential to make informed decisions on policies that could help improve your community. So when we knock on your door or holler at your gate, tell us to count me in. The Statistical Institute of Belize, providing Belize with quality, objective, and timely information.
An investigation is currently underway into the development that is taking place on Placencia Key, just off the southern tip of the peninsula. While the island is privately owned, residents who were out on a cleanup campaign made a frightening discovery. A major portion of mangrove had been cleared and a canal had been dredged through the island. Since then, several residents, including the former village chair and others, have expressed their concerns and reached out to relevant authorities about the situation. But was clearance given for the development? News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
What's happening on Placencia Key? That's the question that residents on the namesake peninsula are asking following the discovery of dredging activity and the destruction of mangroves on the island over the weekend. Founder of Mr. Gobi and Friends Recycling, Monique Vernon, was along with others on a cleanup campaign on the island when they made the shocking revelation.
On Sunday, we held a cleanup, and one of our #1 spot to visit is Placencia Key for a number of reasons. One being that there's always trash at Placencia Key. And two, it's a great opportunity for us to go swim and snorkel because there's loads of beautiful corals around the key. We also normally see manatees feeding, and it's a great place to do bird watching as well. I was wondering why I can see through the thickness of mangroves that normally you can't see nothing, and I was seeing through the mangroves, and I'm like, what's happening here? When I got closer, I realized that they had left like just a skim of mangrove at the front. And inside of that, everything was completely gone.
In utter disbelief, Vernon got out of her kayak to find that a canal had been dug. The dredged material contained fragments of dead coral and other organisms. Heavy-duty machinery can be seen operating on the island, which is less than 2 minutes away by kayak.
Not only were the mangroves being cut down, but they were also dredging. It seems to be like they were building a new channel, creating a new channel in that area as well, because there were like a hill of what seemed to be mud mixed with dead corals on that deforested plot. And it broke my heart, and I just started thinking about all the animals that are being displaced or will be affected some way or the other, and also the residents of Placencia, because I feel like people often forget that we are living on a sandpit of a peninsula, and Placencia Key is very important to us because not only does it host a number of critical or important species that uses those same mangrove ecosystem as a nursery ground, a place for food and shelter. But residents of Placencia use that key to harbor behind during tough storms or even hurricane. That key is very important in blocking all that force.
Several residents, including Vernon, have written to the Department of Environment and other government departments to find out whether permits and approvals were issued to the developers. For them, the destruction will have long-lasting effects on the Placencia community.
I reached out to Southern Environmental Association to ask them if they were aware that that was happening, and it didn't seem like they were. And so Ms. Rena from C, she called the DOE and several offices, and she told me, they said that a permit was issued for them to do dredging and clearing of mangroves. But then I messaged her back, and she said she was trying to call DOE again to get more information, but they referred her to the mining area, the department. But when she called those department, they never responded, and that was like 2 days straight she was been trying to call. And so I personally, a lot of us, we Googled to check, the DOE website, if ECP or an EIA was done or listed under their website, but we don't see anything under the enclave or the Placencia Key. So in our opinion, I don't see anything happening. And when I visited the key on that day when we did the cleanup, we didn't see no sign. Normally, when you have a permit being issued, you will have a 4x4 sign saying, we got the go ahead to do this, and here's the permit. The permit should be embedded on that sign as well. We didn't see any sign, and I spoke to the village council. They were never aware of that happening, and there was no public consultations done either.
The Department of Environment has confirmed with News 5 that they are aware of the situation and are currently checking with all relevant departments about the activity on the island. Following those checks, they will be prepared to make a statement. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
A delegation of 5 Belizeans is currently at a climate change conference in Bonn, Germany. Focal point is Dr. Lennox Gladden, the National Climate Change Officer. The conference is a precursor for what will happen in November of Egypt for COP27. For 2 weeks, discussions will surround issues such as climate finance, agriculture, and climate change, and to ensure that there is transparency and equity for countries experiencing the brunt of climate change. Dr. Gladden says that it's a year for action as we're almost at climate crisis mode, and that's being trashed out by representatives from all countries.
Across the board, and it has always been an issue, is the need for support. So in the absence of that, a lot of the activities that we need to implement under the Paris Agreement, parties are saying, listen, you've provided the technical support. However, we need to implement, right? We're almost at a climate crisis mode. You need to now start to set up facilities, not only facilities, but you need to start to set up maybe additional bodies to actually assist with the coordination so activities can happen on the ground. In the absence of that, we will not be able to meet that goal of mitigating and reversing some of the impacts that we need to do at least by 2025, right? So stuff of that nature, that is what we're dealing with right now. And the sticking point across all parties, of course, is the need for support, mostly financial support, to actually implement what is being done on the loss and damage, what is being done under Article 6 and the broader mitigation of objectives, what is being done under transparency, right? So that is something that is across most of the work streams at this point.
While there has been a lot of work done nationally as it relates to conservation of natural resources, Belize and most countries have not been looking at the framework as it relates to agriculture and climate change. Dr. Lennox Gladden also speaks on the issue of carbon credits.
It's more agriculture, looking under the broader guise of food security or food insecurity. So that is something that we really need to keep our pulse on, because like I said, there's a lot of opportunities, and most of the items in the current text, it works in our favor because it discusses like soil rehabilitation, looks at silvipastoral systems and how it contributes to mitigating some of the impacts of climate change. So these are things that I think as a country, we need to really keep our eyes out for, especially because we realize in the region, with the exception of Guyana, we should be we consider the breadbasket of the Caribbean. When you look at results-based payment for carbon credits, we know the carbon market in itself is a robust market. The price, of course, for carbon credits increasing, something that we didn't see 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And how nationally we've been putting systems in place so that we can all benefit when we reach that stage of actually going for results-based payment. The challenge that we're seeing here in Bonn is the modality as it relates to which methodology, if it's Paris Agreement compliant. For us as a country, we require for it to be Paris Agreement compliant because that speaks to our national determined contributions. Anything outside of that, right, then it's like we're faulting ourselves, right? So, and which article that goes on for full transparency, that is being discussed, because some parties, they're comfortable, of course, engaging with in the voluntary market.
The final document from this conference is what is discussed by world leaders at COP27 in November. Prime Minister John Briceño is in Los Angeles, California, where he addressed the plenary session of the 9th Summit of the Americas. PM Briceño, who is also the pro tem chair of CARICOM, discussed the global issue of climate change, as well as the crushing debt crisis that has led to a sharp increase in poverty, hunger, and education loss caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The most salient part of his speech, however, touched on the exclusion of other countries, including Cuba and Venezuela. Prime Minister Briceño said, quote, "The summit belongs to all of the Americas. It is therefore inexcusable that all countries of the Americas are not here, and the power of the summit diminished by their absence. It is incomprehensible that we should isolate countries of the Americas, which have provided strong leadership and contributed to the hemisphere on the critical issues of our time. Cuba has provided consistent, unmatched cooperation in health to almost 2/3 of the countries in this hemisphere, including Belize. Cuban healthcare experts of the Henry Reeve Brigade were on the front line in the very early and uncertain days of Belize's COVID-19 response. Many Belizean doctors and healthcare professionals are trained in Cuba. The illegal blockade against Cuba is an affront to humanity. It continues to cause untold suffering. It is inconsistent with our values. In fact, it is un-American. The time has come, Mr. President, to lift the blockade and to build bonds of friendship with the people of Cuba. Similarly, Venezuela has done so much toward energy security for the Caribbean region through its innovative financing programs. Venezuela's absence is unforgivable," unquote. After the break, the Minister of Public Utilities weighs in on the increase of water taxi rates.
Necesitas un proveedor de servicio móvil que te permita estar conectado con una cobertura LTE rápida y confiable en cualquier instante y desde cualquier lugar. ¿Quieres hablar con tu familia? ¿Compartir tus experiencias con alguien especial? ¿Administrar tu pequeña empresa? Para todo lo que necesites te mereces la mejor experiencia móvil. Ahora puedes hacer mucho más con los planes de datos postpago aumentados de Digi. Puedes disfrutar de 8 GB de datos en cualquier instante por tan solo $55 mensuales. O puedes compartir hasta 120 GB con 6 de tus amigos más cercanos. Estos son más datos LTE para que disfrutes durante el día, por las noches y los fines de semana sin restricciones. Disfruta a lo máximo con más datos para llamadas y mensajes ilimitados en todos los planes postpago de Digi. Visita la tienda Digi más cercana para inscribirte hoy. Solo necesitas una identificación válida y un comprobante de domicilio. Únete a la red de mayor velocidad y cobertura en Belice. Para más información visita nuestra página web www.livedigi.com o envíanos un mensaje a través de WhatsApp o Facebook. Digi, nuestra telecomunicación nacional.
Boy, fresh already for Father's Day.
Father's Day? Why you not got no picnic?
I talk about the Benny's Father's Day Fest. You know hear about that?
That what that? Why tell me about this?
On June 18th at Benny's Superstore, Belize City, it's the first ever Benny's Father's Day Fest. It's a 3-in-1 all-day free event. The Benny's 100-cart race, where different racers will compete to claim the top prize and to also see who will become the champion. But wait, popping deals for that. Up to 25% off. And to end off the day, free concert featuring the top artists in Belize like
the one and only Jacobs.
This is Kyle O'Neal.
This is your girl Yas Talia.
This is Denise Castillo.
Yo, this is Super G, the General. The thing I sell off. Make sure no come out.
June 18th, mark your calendar. It's probably on your phone right now, man.
Dale, the man not the lie, watch the thing, yeah?
Sure.
Why?
Benny's Father's Day Fest.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
If you've been discouraged in the past to seek a temporary employment permit because of the tedious task it involves, your effort now is just a couple clicks on your keyboard from the comfort of your home. The Ministry of E-Governance is taking command of the digital era and bringing it to your fingertips for almost every service provided by the government. And today, it did so yet again by integrating the payments for employment permits online. News 5's Marian Ali was at the launch ceremony at the Best Western Belize Biltmore Plaza Hotel and filed this report.
Today, another service provided by the government was made available online, creating ease of access and eliminating the need to visit a government office and stand in a line. The online portal is for people, including foreign employers, who want to apply for temporary employment permits for their foreign employees. Making it possible required a collaborative effort on the part of the Ministries of E-Governance and Labor, as well as the Belize Bank, which facilitates the digital payments. Minister of E-Governance, Michelle Shabat, says that this is a part of what the government promised.
As part of our digital agenda, the government is committed to making the interaction with the public and government services easier. And so this is a first step. What we're trying to do is that when the public needs to interact with the government for some type of service, they can do it from any location, whether or not they have a bank account or not. So we're trying to make it accessible to everyone.
Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance, Chris Koyi, explained that the service will benefit a lot of people in the fields of agriculture and the arts particularly.
It allows an opportunity for efficient processing of applications for persons other than in agriculture, and that's in the arts, in entertainment, culture, professional, technical skill personnel, So there is quite a bit of improved service on the labor end.
But these are not the only areas where the public can access online services provided by the government.
One of the comments you heard from Mr. Giuseppe was the need to introduce this into the court systems. And so we're not only going to be looking at that, but we're looking at other services that the government provide and to see how this concept can translate to those services.
Partnering with government in this venture was the Belize Bank to offer its eCash digital currency. For people who use other forms of digital payment services, however, Shebat says those will also be added to make it all-inclusive. eCash became a partner to the service through the tendering of a bid. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
Today, the media got a chance to speak with the Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance, Chris Koyi, on matters of the economy, one of which included inflation and its effects on people's pockets. Koyi explained that while prices are indeed high, considering the fact that Belize relies heavily on imported goods, our rate of inflation locally is still lower than in the U.S.
Belize's economy, roughly, just in rough terms, it's a $4 billion economy. We import roughly $2 billion. We export roughly $500 million. Clearly, our economy is significantly impacted by what occurs outside Belize, and that translates through imports into what happens in Belize. So inflation, I don't say is a U.S. phenomenon. It's currently a global phenomenon. The inflation in the developed countries, in Europe, they're also very high. But for us, our major trading partners, which includes the U.S., is exceedingly high. It's far more than what the inflation is in Belize. I think it's around the last monthly report indicated that inflation was at around 8% in the U.S. For Belize, we are around 5%. So we are, what would we say, 60% less than what the inflation is in the U.S. But the fact of the matter is, we do have inflation. We are seeing prices go up, largely because of the fuel costs, and that largely is impacted by the war in Ukraine, but also by supply chain issues and demand issues even before the war in Ukraine.
Koyi expressed hope that the factors that are causing fuel prices and the cost of other commodities to rise, mainly the war in Ukraine, will be over by the time the government's 6-month-long intervention to provide an ease on the fuel prices to those most affected in the tourism, agriculture, and bus industries expires. While inflation is up, Belize's economy is still performing well ahead of its projection. Minister Koyi explained that despite all the factors that cause the cost of living to soar, Belize has been able to maintain a steady growth, but we still need to be cautious.
In terms of where we are right now in this current year, I believe that I think the projections were that we would grow roughly 6% or 6.5% for this current calendar year. I believe we are on target, if not a little ahead, but the data will be coming out by the end of this month. We are actually going through the SIB, the Statistical Institute of Belize. They are actually going through a rebasing of our GDP, which will incorporate other sectors that apparently had not been included before. That will have a significant positive effect on our GDP estimates. So I think that besides our actual organic growth, we will see quite a good performance. Now, I don't want to be overly optimistic because we also have headwinds in the sense of inflation and the war in Ukraine and the overall effect that has on the global economy, especially our major trading partners. But we are doing well.
One of the issues related to the cost of living has to do with the rise in water taxi rates. While the majority of people who board water taxis are tourists going to the Keys for a memorable vacation, a lot of the passengers are from the islands just wanting to make a business trip to the mainland. It's a difficult time to have to travel. Minister Shabat agreed.
It was 3 years ago that their rates have been increased, and with the increase in fuel, they had reached out to the Belize Port Authority, and I believe that they had employed a formula calculating the cost of fuel and other factors to come up to this, and so it was a formula that was employed taking into consideration all the factors, and this is how they came up with this tariff.
Don't you think it will hinder domestic tourism, considering people now they don't want to boat no more?
You know, clearly any increase in cost in any services will initially have a little bit of an effect, but I think we also must take into consideration the provision of the service, which has become more costly due to no control of ours. You know, we are finding ourselves in a world where everything, the cost of fuel, which is so fundamental to the provision of these services, has skyrocketed, and so it leaves us in a very difficult position.
When we return, strengthening the capacity of enforcement officers in the Hol Chan. Stay with us.
June is full of joy at Cellular World. Cheers to our graduates and their dads, because during this month, we should come together to recognize their efforts with a meaningful gift. Give them a gadget to improve their life or that they will enjoy, such as a laptop for future university students or a cell phone or tablet for dad that wants to keep in touch. At Cellular World, we have great gift options for those that you love. Even better, we are giving away free scratch and win cards with every purchase over $25. Visit us at our stores in Belize City, Belmopan, and San Pedro, or shop with us online by sending us a message on WhatsApp at 615-5141. Find the perfect gift for your dad or grad at Cellular World.
It's almost lunchtime and Alice is getting hungry and forgot to bring cash. She remembers that eCash now has a geolocation feature in which she can easily view the eCash merchants near her, especially restaurants. Her co-workers also ask her to order food for them.
Chicken chow mein, please, and a Coke.
The merchant sends her the payment link. She taps confirm, and within a few minutes, her food is delivered. Alice then views her transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made. Then taps the split the bill button, where she selects the unevenly option and moves the bar to the desired amount per person. The request is then sent to her friends. Her colleagues accept the request and are ready to enjoy their meals. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash make Alice's life a whole lot easier.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
On Wednesday, a memorandum of understanding was signed between the Belize Tourism Board, the Hol Chan Marine Reserve, and the Tourism Police Unit to strengthen enforcement of tourism operations within the Hol Chan Marine Reserve. The tripartite agreement was officially made to build the capacity of each unit in its effective monitoring of activity in the marine protected area, which is one of the most visited natural attractions in the country. Today, News 5 spoke with the BTB's Director of Quality Management and Capacity Development, Abil Castaneda.
The MOU is very well, I think, received by all, especially because it's now going to assist us in being able to put our resources together to be able to ensure that the experience out in San Pedro and the Hol Chan Marine Reserve is a safe one, Two, that our service providers, that being our tour guides, our tour operators, are maintaining their operations within the laws of Belize. And three, to see how the three organizations can work together to be able to also improve their own internal capacities, right? One element of the Memorandum of Understanding is providing support for capacity development of rangers and of the TPU officers and even the users there at the marine reserves.
Signing the MOU were Tourism Director Evan Tillett, Executive Chairman of the Whole Chan Marine Reserve Ian Powell, and Assistant Superintendent of Police Alison McLaughlin of the Tourism Police Unit. Tonight, the Belize Tourism Board is sharing additional details on the open call for food vendors for the first annual Belize International Music and Food Festival. The festival takes place at the end of July in San Pedro at the Sacachispas Field. The idea is that for the 2 days of activities, those in attendance will be exposed to the diversity of Belizean cuisine, from street food to the best tacos, panades, barbecue, rice and beans, and everything in between. There are 18 booths, and applicants will go through a selection process to get a spot. BTB's Investment and Innovation Specialist, Simone Bell, says that a free family food festival will also be included.
It's probably one of the first for the country to be able to pitch a project that's of such a large scale, and we can't foresee this happening without incorporating all of the aspects of our culture, which means that everybody from Orange Walk to PG, who is a reputable vendor, who has that amazing sucky finger dish, we want those to be on display so that we can highlight the true Belizean culture and have everybody participate in this. So what we've decided to do this year is to make it as transparent as possible and to allow everybody an opportunity to participate. We've set up a panel that includes an executive chef, a member of the BTB staff, and of course, a very loved media representative to be able to judge that. So there is no bias in the selection process. However, there are things that we do have to take into consideration. One, it's an event that's in San Pedro. And what we've also done, and this is very exciting, is that we have expanded the concert to include a free family food festival. So from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., the entire family is welcome to come in, enjoy all of the patrons at the food festival. And then what we will do is roll over into the concert, which takes place from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. each night. So it's actually very fantastic. So the family can come out and enjoy all of the food that is going to be on display. And then afterwards, we transition into the nighttime where, you have your coffee and your Patrice Robert. It's important for each vendor that is applying to be able to have food and door run out for the entire period. So we're talking about from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. You need to be able to cater, and we're expecting about 6,000 people to be at this event. So, you can't come with your one pot. You have to have your whole ammunition ready to deliver some of the best food Belize has to offer.
Interested vendors are being asked to submit applications by June 22nd. They must possess a valid food handler's permit, trade license, or peddler's permit in order to qualify. World Accreditation Day is being recognized today under the theme Accreditation, Sustainability in Economic Growth and Environment. To mark the day, the Belize Bureau of Standards held an online forum with Belizean businesses. Industry presenters shared on the importance of accreditation to increasing global competitiveness. David Guerra, the metrology officer at the Belize Bureau of Standards, shared these important details on accreditation.
I think everybody agrees that companies are in the business to make money. They do that by creating a product or a service of value that meets the needs and desires of consumers. It's something that the consumers are willing to pay for. But that transaction is more than just a product and paying for it. The market is demanding more from companies, especially in the international market. Products aren't being purchased based on face value, not because a company claims quality or high standard means that the market will accept it as such. Yes, the market wants to know how the product was manufactured, but more and more markets are requiring third-party certification or third-party attestation that the company is conforming to the standards for the processing of the product. To ensure that the product is safe for humans, that it has a reasonable shelf life, that no child labor was used in the making of the product, and especially that little or no harm was done to the environment during processing. This is that delicate balance between maintaining healthy economic growth and not causing significant problems for future generations, or rather meeting the needs of humans in a manner that sustains natural resources and environment for future generations.
A representative from Marie Sharp's Fine Foods Limited gave a presentation on how accreditation has propelled the company on the global market. Sales and Marketing Director Jody Williams shared these valuable insights.
You're asking why certify in the first place? Well, for one, it's to protect the health of your consumers. Number two, to build consumer and market confidence and trust. This is very important. So for companies like Marie Sharp's, we want to build the trust and the confidence of market. So even we might get emails directly straight from the end customer that they asking about gluten-free, if we have any certificates in place, what is the salt content of our product. We make sure we have everything on hand that we could provide to that person or to persons who want to know more. Number three, of course, more sales, more profits. Food certificates may cost a lot to implement, to enforce, and to get audited, but in the long term, it provides more sales and more profit because it gives you a benchmark and a strategic advantage to gain markets outside of Belize.
Just ahead, News 5 speaks with Alex Evans on Panorama.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
When all hope is lost and the days ahead look grim, we find ourselves looking for someone to shake things up, rescue us, and point us in the right direction. What if the one we've been waiting for has been here all along? Join us for our new series, Troublemaker, as we learn about a man who wasn't afraid to stand up for what's right to make this world a better place.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time, and so are we.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo Messi! What an incredible strike from Leo Messi! Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Hello eCash user, the eCash app is now available in Spanish. Changing the language in your eCash app from English to Spanish is quick and easy. Let me walk you through the steps. First, open your eCash app. Enter your PIN. Tap the More icon at the bottom of your screen. Choose Security. Select Language. Tap on Spanish. Then re-enter your PIN. And that's it! Your eCash app is now in Spanish, and you can continue to enjoy your eCash digital wallet. Belize Bank's eCash app makes life easier.
Recently, there was a protest in Bullet Tree Falls where Minister Michelle Shabat is the area representative for Cayo North. The protesters said they were upset that lands that were previously allotted for community projects were being shared out instead for housing to residents. Today, Minister Shabat responded by saying a lot of it is political. He sees greater need for first-time Belizeans to own their own piece of land.
And there's a bit of a protest out there. I understand it is some UDP operatives who are heading this. I have asked Lands Department to check into it to see what the situation is, and I'm waiting for information from them. But I want to say this: as part of Plan Belize, we're on record saying that we're going to try to give as much first-time landowners a piece of land. And so I have approached the Lands Department and I have asked them particularly to find land that is available in the village for us to give land to first-time homeowners. And if this is part of that process, then I'm happy to associate myself with this process.
So even if the land was previously reserved for community use, you'd prefer to separate it and give it to residents?
Well, we feel that it is important to have recreational centers. As a matter of fact, we have just undergone putting in new lights in the football field in Bullet Tree. We're in the process of starting to renovate the basketball court there, which is very close to this location, and so the kids will have access. I'll tell you this. It is important to look back on what has happened in this area. There's a lot of land grabbing going on in this area, a lot of squatting, and so the Lands Department has really had to go in to clean up things that are happening down there.
Belizean panist Alexander Evans is performing in the final round of the Panorama Steel Pan competition on Sunday night. Considered the World Cup for panists, Panorama brings together some of the best panists from across the world to compete against each other. Evans successfully made it through the first and second rounds of the competition. He is now in the top 10 and has one final piece to play. News 5's Paul Lopez spoke with Alexander Evans about this journey.
Alexander Evans is the first Belizean to compete in Panorama, and he has made it to the finals. Widely regarded as the World Cup for panists, Evans is now among the top 10 instrumentalists in that competition.
I started playing pan back in about 2007 with the Pan Tempters Steel Orchestra. That was my introduction to the instrument. At the time I had already been playing a few instruments, guitar, bass, drums, but I had always been fascinated by the steel pan, and I took advantage of the opportunity when I had the chance to learn.
Evans has been playing pan ever since. He has been performing as a soloist. He also spent 6 years with the Pan Tempers Steel Orchestra until he started the Pandemonium Steel Band under the National Institute for Culture and History in 2013. Evans is also no stranger to pan competitions and winning.
I haven't participated in any steel pan soloist competitions before, but I've won a few competitions. I won Belize's National Song Competition twice. My composition won Guyana's National Panorama last year, played by a Guyanese panist. I also won a number of awards in the Prime Minister's Best Village Trophy competition in Trinidad and Tobago in 2019, including Best Musical Director, Best Arrangement and Accompaniment, and Best Choral Performance.
Evans has performed twice so far in the Panograma Steel Pan competition. In the preliminaries, he performed a rendition of the popular 2020 Afrobeat hit Love Nuantiti by CK, which advanced him to the semifinals. In the semifinals, Evans performed Welcome to Belize by Lila Vernon, which got him to the finals.
And I am proud to say that I made it to the Panograma finals having performed a Belizean Creole broke-down song, as if, almost to underscore the fact of how much we as Belizeans undervalue our own music, because this panel of international judges and everyone, they deemed our music worthy of earning us a place in the finals. My belief and what I remain consistent with is that the competition is very much secondary for me. There's an opportunity for me to showcase not just myself, but to represent Belize, but to represent myself and my music in the best way possible, and each round to try and put something out there that is the best possible representation of me and my musical vocabulary and my self-expression. So I completely agree with you. There are some brilliant musicians in this competition, and it is a privilege and an honor just to stand on the same stage as them. And may the best panelists win.
The final round airs on Sunday night on Panograma's YouTube page. The top 10 competitors are from Belize, Trinidad and Tobago, France, USA, and Guyana. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.